Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset. It's game 2 in the state of Tennessee. We're live and on the air. We're going to start off in Helena, Alabama. We bring live and on the air the head coach of the Helena Huskies, and he'll be going into game 1 this week. Head coach Richie Busby. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm good, Stork. How y'all doing up there?
Doing really well. A lot smoother intro there than last week.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that happens. Friday night came and went, and you didn't play, but you did go over and scout McAdory, and they played Pleasant Grove and manhandled them 57-7. Take us through it.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and Pleasant Grove's been a program that has played for a couple state titles in 5A the last couple of years. Had a coaching change and, lost a good bit, but still a good football team, and really impressed with McAdory. A lot of team speed, and guys up there in that area probably don't know much about McAdory, but it has been a storied football program, not just with Bo Jackson, but David Powell, who was the head coach there, averaged 10 wins a year for 20 straight years. So, very good football program. A lot of experience coming back. They're not as big as they were last year on their fronts, but, man, their team speed is really impressive. So we'll have our work cut out for us.
And, when you get into something like this, if it does get a little bit out of control, you just want to try to finish the game and keep your guys intact. I mean, and it has the potential to do that. Not to say that it would, but based on their score, they're going to put a lot of points on the board. Sounds like their special teams is good. It just sounds like to me they run, their linemen sound like they're good, so they get their real good money guys in space, and then they got probably some guys up front.
Yeah, and it just seems by watching film, obviously they gave us a half of their game because we only had a jamboree to swap films with them. Just seems like they have a lot of depth. A lot of similar kids, a lot of same body types. That concerns me because we are very young, and when you're very young, obviously you don't have depth. So, the biggest thing for us is we've got to stay in this game into the second half, and hopefully our home atmosphere will make a difference. Our kids over the last 7 years I've been there have won a lot of games late, but to do that, we've got to stay in the game, and they have the horsepower to get away from us. And with 14 out of our 22 kids really playing their first varsity football game, it's going to be a challenge. With 4 new offensive linemen, they do a lot of things defensively to confuse you, even if you were a veteran offensive line with their stemming and shifting and different things like that. So it's like I told the kids this morning, which is basically our last practice at 8 o'clock this morning, we got to stay in it and do what we always do at home and find a way to win it at the end. And we've done that in our kicking game. Problem is we lost our kicker. He's kicking at Troy now, so we got a couple freshmen and an inexperienced field goal kicker. So there's a lot of things stacked up against us, but, knowing our kids, hopefully we'll find a way to be in the game at the end. And I feel like McAdory is probably a top 10 football team in our state in 6A, so we've got a mountain to climb come Friday night.
And when I sit and think about it, any chance to slow this football game down? Did Pleasant Grove try to stop the pace of the game in any form or fashion? And you know what I mean by slowing that tempo down. Every play goes off right at the last second. And that's hard to do on game 1, but seeing as how something like this. That's been a remedy in our area. Have you thought of that, or has that even crossed your mind?
Well, you've called some of our games before. We want to run the football.
Yeah,
we're a gap scheme team, and unfortunately, we're a little undersized up front. But when you're a gap scheme team, that's okay. You got angles and things like that. Pleasant Grove tried, but McAdoo was able to shut the run down
Okay.
with a 5-man box. And when you can shut the run down with a 5-man box and the other 6 can cover the perimeter, you're in for a long night. Pleasant Grove's quarterback was first-year starter. They have a good football team. The new coach that's been there since February. That's an uphill
That's
battle.
another one. Yeah, that's another one. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. So, and the guy that's the head coach there, I know him well. He's a good football coach. He's been coaching for 15 plus years, and he's been at Hoover and Thompson, so he knows what he's doing. But the roster's kind of turned over. I mean, up in Birmingham, kids are transferring. I mean, I'm sure it's the same way in Tennessee.
Oh,
but,
yeah. They like to move around, Coach.
Left.
They like to move around.
That's
all right.
That's something that we don't have the issue with in Helena. I mean, we don't have any transfers. So we're playing with kids that have been wearing that Helena shield since they were 2nd and 3rd grade, which that's why I say if we can get the game into a game late, our kids have the advantage because they've been looking at each other in that huddle since they were, barely big enough to hold their head up with a helmet on it. So that's kind of been the way we've won games. And, in 7 years, we've been on the good end of most of those. But this is really, other than my first year there when they had gone, 2-18 and 6A, this is probably the most inexperienced football team that we've had. We're not very big. We've got some talent, but it's all, it's 10th graders and guys that are older, haven't played a whole lot. And I know, that coaches say that every year, but this is going to be a challenge for us, and we just got to get better every week. We made so many mistakes in our jamboree, just alignment issues. And if you can't line up right defensively, you can't stop anybody. That's the first day of practice is stance and alignment and assignment. We went through that whole game with the leads, and Lord, we didn't line up right probably 90% of the time defensively. Offensively, we've got some weapons. But when you start 4 offensive linemen, new ones up front that are, I haven't slept well in 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, it's part of it. I mean, Coach, you're trying to figure out a way that you possibly can make sure that not only that, but you give these guys the best experience possible and put them in the best position possible to be successful on Friday night, not only for themselves but for Helena. And it starts with that individual player taking care of what's in front of them. They can't worry about what the quarterback's doing or all that other stuff, or if the wide receiver's getting open. If you're a lineman, just cover your assignment, do what you're supposed to do, and let the other stuff fall.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I mean, every year the margin of error is small, but this year it's going to be even smaller. And we've got to play clean football. We've got to get off the field on 3rd down. This year more than any, our kicking game is going to be huge. I don't feel real good about having this freshman punter back there because the first thing he's got to do is catch the ball. And, he's going to and they're going to come after him, and that's the kind of team they are. They've got speed everywhere. They're going to bring in a punt block team that's a whole different 11 guys that play defense. They've got that many bodies, and, we can't shoot ourselves in the foot, give up a special team, a block punt or a kickoff return. We can't turn the ball over. And we've got to move the chains, and like you said, we've got to try to keep their offense off the field. And if we do all those things, if we catch lightning in a bottle, I don't ever count our kids out. I tell them every Friday night, and I mean this, I've coached at a school that we had better talent than most people we played. And we have talented kids, but most Friday nights when we go on the field is tilted.
Yep.
And the other way. So we have to do it a different way, and we've done it. So I don't ever count our kids out, and they're never going to give in. And that's the special thing about Helena. You've seen it. So, I think we'll have a chance if they don't get out too far in front of us early.
Well, the only thing it reminds me of, I remember Coach Dye. They had recruited some kickers, and they, I don't know, they ended up with a kid that was taking 3 steps, and he just kept telling him, he says, "Son, you'll get killed out there. You can't take 3 steps in the SEC. It's one and go.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. This isn't a walk through the park. It's when the ball snapped, you've got to learn to take 1 step and let that thing go." And he said
Just
that
get
was
it out of there. It don't matter how pretty it is. Just get the thing out of there, and give our defense a chance, and we've got all new returners. I mean, it's literally, everything is new for everybody. We're working our punt returners today. I was like, guys, fair catch the ball, catch it in the air, and just give it back to our offense. Do not do anything stupid. And, we've got young guys back there, and, the punt returner is a huge piece of the pie, and the 4 we got back there have never caught a punt in a real game when it matters. So,
stay away from it. Let it go. Stay away
from it. Get away from it, or catch in the air. Just give us the ball back, and don't put our defense.
Back on the field with precious field
We're
position.
a year away. We don't lose but one guy on our defense.
Okay.
We'll start one senior tomorrow night. And the old theory, how many ever underclassmen you start is a loss. So I hope that's not true, but we're a year away from being really, really good defensively. I've got some good bodies and some guys that are going to be good, but when you're starting a bunch of sophomores, we're going to start a freshman on the defensive line tomorrow night. He's going to be he'll be a college football player, but he's a 14-year-old freshman.
Well,
so
I'm
excited to see them play and excited to see them develop over the season. I think they will, but you can't duplicate those game snaps in practice. So don't care what anybody says. They just got to play, and we got to stay together. It's a non-region game. It's going to be one of the better opponents we play, so it'll be good for us.
Absolutely. Coach Busby, good luck Friday, good luck in your game, and go Huskies.
All right, thank you, Storm. Go Huskies.